It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know.
News update.
This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag Utah Jazz.
Now the basketball continues off the court. Not a whole lot. In fact, nothing going on the court, although players are working, getting ready for the season. We're excited for when that comes. With the Jazz, they officially waived Jaden Springer. You know, I probably would have had a better idea that Jerry Springer was on the team rather than Jaden Springer. You know who Jerry Springer is there, Christian?
Yeah, only from funny internet highlights.
The Jerry Springer Show? You never watched it?
I never watched it live. No, I've seen clips.
Yeah, it was smut TV at its worst. But Jaden Springer, he appeared in 17 games for the Jazz last season. He averaged 3.5, or 3.8 to be exactly, points, 2 boards, and a 1.4 assists. Now the Jazz roster sits at 15 players. What will they do? You know, they still got a thing there. They traded everybody except one guy. I guess maybe you can include 2 if you want to put in Walker Kessler. But obviously that other player I'm speaking of is Lauri Markkanen. And what are they going to do with him? How's he going to fit in? You know, I know that last week or earlier in the week, DJ was talking about a story that he saw on ESPN that things teams should have done, biggest regrets, I guess, maybe it was, and saying that the Jazz should have traded Lauri Markkanen, 2-3 years ago? Because he hit the ground running, right? And he had a phenomenal first season, makes the All-Star team. We all know that story. And his value was much higher then than it is now. He's approaching, 28? And what can they get for him? Because the fact is they didn't get much for the other guys that they traded, the veteran guys, right? And they literally just released and bought out Jordan Clarkson, so they got nothing back. And they got a little back for Sexton and Collins. And how about Markkanen? You know, what are they going to get? Do they keep him? How's he fit into the youth movement? Because he sticks out like a sore thumb in the youth movement, especially at a position where we want to see some of their guys go, right? Ace Bailey, doesn't that seem a little bit of a duplicate? How will they handle that? You know, I knew that I was told weeks ago that they would get rid of the other guys and didn't know about Markkanen. And I don't know that I've been gone for a week. I don't know that anything's changed. But what do they do there? What do you want to see them do there with Markkanen? Interesting question that will reveal itself over the next several weeks as we draw closer to Labor Day and the start of training camp for the Jazz when they all starts the end of September, but the players usually get back in around then and start working out together. And we know that for Donovan Mitchell, he was traded before. You're not going to have that player come into town, work out with the team, and then get traded if you're intent on trading him. So we'll see what happens there. Okay, Christian, let's move on to the NFL.
Hashtag NFL.
Yeah, obviously disappointing. You know, you'd like to have all your guys out there day one to try to build that cohesion that I was talking about earlier. It's not how it usually works out. You know, it's a business, and that is how it's gone. Nobody's ever going to fault a player for doing business how he feels he needs to. It's cutthroat business. It's you got to fight for everything you can get. That's how it goes.
It's still a work in progress, not just for me, but for everybody. But you know, like I said, he's working on himself. He's working on the things that he says he wants to get better with and do better on. So that's the first step to me, and so I commend him for doing that.
When you step in and your GM and your head coach say, "Hey, just be you,"
yeah.
After I've been told at every stop and everywhere I go, "Hey, you need to tone it down a little bit. You need to be a franchise quarterback." It's just not who I am. Like, I wear my emotions on my sleeves. We've hung out. You guys know me. But when it's time to turn the lights on and go do something, I'm going to do it. So when I stepped into the building, they all told me to just be myself. And so it's been, not to say like comfortable, but it's felt like home since the beginning. And
that's
as
awesome.
A quarterback that's been through a little bit of a journey, you can't ask for anything else.
All right, that's the voices of three quarterbacks, and we'll go in order, starting with the first one. That was Joe Burrow, quarterback, obviously, of the Cincinnati Bengals, and he's talking about his teammate, defensive end Trey Hendrickson. He's holding out from the Bengals training camp as he waits a new deal. Now, he has led the NFL in sacks over the past 2 seasons, and certainly Burrow would want a player of that caliber. Training camp is underway. Now, began earlier in the week for everybody, and away they go. So we'll see what happens with Hendrickson if he gets his money. It's business. Don't get involved in someone else's business. Don't get involved in someone else's money. Stay away from that. Burrow talking about that. Obviously, he wants the young man on the team as his teammate because he's very effective, speaking of Hendrickson. And then the second voice you heard was the Dolphins quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, on building or rebuilding a relationship with Tyreek Hill after the wide receiver said, I'm out following the final regular season game. You know, if you bring Tyreek Hill back, you know what you're going to get. You're going to get a great player, which is why he's been able to play, because there's one thing after another with him. As I said, why do things happen like this and constant controversy around Tyreek Hill, and you had no controversy around Grant Hill? What's the difference between the Hills? You figure that out and let me know. And then the last voice was Baker Mayfield. He is down there in Tampa with the Buccaneers, and why he feels so comfortable, because he's allowed to be himself. Now, he swore in there, I assume, because you bleeped it out, or it was bleeped out, but I couldn't figure out the swear word. I hate when that happens. I want to know the word. I know we can't say it, and you can't hear it, because we'd all die.
That was not my work. That was it was already bleeped out.
I figured that was the case, but I was unable to figure out what the word is. I usually like to figure, as long as I know the word, then I'm okay that it's bleeped out. But I couldn't figure it out. I'm thinking it's a certain body part that I have been called personally many times.
I think so too.
Yeah. And then I'm just speaking about family, of course, of how they have greeted me over the years. I seem to find myself in those conversations a time or two. So misunderstood. All right, Saints safety, the Honey Badger. Tyrann Mathieu. He announces retirement from the NFL. Fearless play. I think he came in with the Cardinals. He had some issues in college, too. 4-time All-Pro, 3-time Pro Bowler. He played for the Cardinals, Texans, and Chiefs from LSU, I believe. And how about this? They went and got the replacement. The replacement is Julian Blackmon. Yeah, he played for the Utes. He's a local kid, too, right? He's from up your way?
Leighton, yeah.
Yeah, Leighton. I remember talking to him many times. It was a good interview, and obviously he developed into a very nice player. And is still in the NFL because he played 5 seasons with the Colts. So he is doubling the average lifespan of an NFL player. Good for Julian. You see him on those commercials. What is it, like Junior Jazz, Youth Sports and all. He's almost phenols in there, a couple of female celebrity athletes well-known in our state. I think the governor's on there. And so he's it's not just a guy who came from wherever. He's one of our own from the state of Utah. The Raiders, they're releasing defensive tackle Christian Wilkins with just 1 year into a 4-year, $110 million deal. The Raiders were unhappy with how Wilkins treated the rehab from a foot injury and voided the remaining $35 million guaranteed. Now, of course, he's going to file a grievance with the Players Association, so we'll see how that develops and what goes there if there's some form of settlement. That's a lot of guaranteed money, obviously, to leave on the table there. 1 year into a 4-year, $110 million deal, with 35 of it guaranteed. I would think that there'd be some type of settlement there, but I have no idea. And the bad news continues for the Jets. Justin Fields is going to be their quarterback this year. He's the new quarterback, was carted off practice yesterday morning with a dislocated toe. The Jets said Fields would not miss significant time, is considered day-to-day. And what's cool about the NFL, colleges have basically shut down everything. Like Bronco Mendenhall wouldn't let anybody within 5 miles of Utah State's practice. And NFL, all of it, it's just wide open, man. You can film it. You can tweet about it. You can do whatever you want. And the NFL goes on, but colleges, oh no. But we did hear something about maybe giving a injury report that will come out. So we stop these stupid games. My gosh, these coaches are so paranoid. And yeah, I'm looking at you, and you. Maybe not the last you, but the other two you, I'm looking at you. Yeah, and you figure out who's you. Use people. Come on. It's not that big of a deal. All right, let's go on to college football.
Hashtag college football.
Oh, I get to say his name proudly. President Donald Trump. Let me take a minute and take off my hat. He's directed members of his cabinet to develop a plan in the next 30 days aimed at preventing college athletes from becoming professionals, according to an executive order he signed on Thursday. Here's what happens, man. The order declares that the school should not permit athletes to accept third-party pay-for-play payments. The order also states endorsement deals from third parties should continue to be permitted as long as they reflect fair market value. Now, we just had on Travis Hansen, the DJ interview that was last week, and we played it this morning. And Travis is even talking about, as things happen, he doesn't even necessarily know what his job is going to entail because this is so fluid. Things are changing all the time. What does this mean? I mean, because they're already getting pay, and they were essentially already being pay for play. It's not that if you score 7 touchdowns, I'll give you $100,000, but they're already, in a sense, becoming professionals with agents. So this executive order is going to stop. Now, driving in this morning, I was listening to Nick Saban, and he was talking about that the idea being, are we going to have this being an education-based model or a pay-based model? And he was talking about, because of its pay-based model, and Kyle Whittingham has floated this, the idea being that kids don't even have to go to school. They're just going to be professional athletes representing a particular school, but having no desire, or not necessarily desire, but having no obligation is probably the better word, to go to school, to attend class. Is that really what we want? Or is that what we already have in a sense? Yeah. So we'll see what all this means. To try to put your arms around it and think that, okay, I got a handle on this executive order, exactly how it's going to play out, I have no idea. But we'll see how it goes and what level of professional/education model they come up with. Interesting times, to say the least, in college sports. All right, let's move on to baseball.
Hashtag Major League Baseball.
2-1, bluffed by Westbrook, fly ball deep center field. Pushes Martinez back, he's on the track, he's at the wall, it's out of here! For the third time in this series, Ramon Laureano has left the ballpark.
Donovan swings and he drives it. Deep right field. Back to the wall. And it's a gunner. 3-run homer. Brendan Donovan. That puts the Cardinals in front.
Pitch on the way. Swinging a line shot deep down the left field line. Has it enough? Yes, it is. Goodbye, baseball. A rocket line drive. 2-run home run off the bat of Randy Arozarena. And it's now the Mariners 3, the Angels 1.
Hit in the air, deep left field, going back Riley Green, at the wall, it's gone! Clement making him pay for the intentional walk to Barger. A 3-run homer, and the Blue Jays have blown it open, leading 4-1 in the top of the 6th.
The Blue Jays continue to roll. You had a battle of division leaders in this series with the Tigers and the Blue Jays. Blue Jays, man, they're 4.5 up on New York. They're pulling away a little bit. And Detroit's got that division firmly in hand because Cleveland's 500 in the Central Division, and that's it. Everybody else is below 500. And then you got Detroit, who is 16 games above 500. But you've got the Toronto Blue Jays playing some very good baseball. And young Christian, I call you young Christian because you are young. And your name is Christian. I don't know your religious influence, but I know you are a Christian in name only, and you are young. In fact, you should be 25 now, right?
That is correct.
You told us May.
Yes, May.
May what?
12.
Yeah, see, I remembered.
Thank you.
Now we can send you out on the road and you can rent a car.
Exactly. I haven't done it yet, but I'm excited.
I was in Toronto and saw the Toronto Blue Jays play baseball on Friday. Last Friday, they played the Giants, and they have a pitcher by the name of Jose Barrios, Christian. And they were giving away a replica jersey, so it was a jersey giveaway. So we got downtown. It's right in the heart of downtown, the stadium, the Rogers Center. We got downtown probably about 11, and we're going to park the car there, go to the game later at 7, but we're going to explore the area, take a boat. They got an island, bike ride, all that stuff that you would do in a new town. And there were people lining up. And I had no idea what it was about. And then we get back by the ballpark at 4 o'clock, and lines were 500 deep, 1,000 deep at all the entrances. And as a security, we've got jersey giveaway. Who? Jose Barrios. Who? All these people were in line 5-6 hours to get the jersey because they were only giving like 15,000. I mean, it's not Roy Halladay. It's not Max Scherzer. You would have thought it was a signed autograph personalized by Roger Clemens. No, it was Jose Barrios. And they were only giving away 5,000, but the Blue Jay fans, they wanted them. And number 17, those jerseys were in abundance, obviously, because everybody was wearing them. And I'm walking to the entrance. I was at gate 5, and I see they're playing the Giants, right? I see 4 older ladies, probably in their 70s, and they're walking. So I walk up beside one of them. And you know, sometimes if you wear a visiting jersey, you could get some commotion there, particularly as people get drunk. And then everybody gets outraged as they continue to sell $15 beers, and then they wonder, oh my gosh, we must have this stop. And meanwhile, they continue to sell $15 beers, but that's another story. And so I say to one of the ladies, I say, now listen, man, I know you got the Giants jersey. You're in enemy territory. I want to make sure that you don't get in a fight in this game. 70-year-old woman. So she giggles at me. She says, can I ask you something? I said, yes. So we got all these people coming, going, massive foot traffic. Why don't Canadians walk on the right side of the sidewalk? Why do I got to walk between all these people? What is wrong with you Canadians? Don't you know you walk on the right side and then they walk on their right side so there's no interface? You got a free flow of traffic going. How come you Canadians don't understand that? I said, lady, I'm not Canadian. I'm from Utah. Oh. So we had that going on there. And that was kind of funny. Also, get this, Christian. I went to a baseball game on Monday, and I saw the Phillies and the Red Sox. I don't know if you saw this, Christian, but that game, it was decided in the bottom of the 10th, bases loaded, and the winning run for the Phillies. Do you know how it scored?
Remind me. We did talk about it.
Catcher's interference.
That's right. And DJ said that was the first time that has happened since
1971.
Yes, that's correct.
And I was there. And you can see the batter swing, but you know how you check swing, they hold up? Well, here was a full swing, and all of a sudden it stopped. You know, check swing, it's usually not a full swing, right? They move and they but their momentum carries them, and they call a strike usually. And I thought, what is going on? And the pitcher, the batter points to the umpire. So they review it. They put it on the big screen, and the first time you see it, you can see. And all of a sudden, you have tens of thousands of Red Sox fans start flooding the aisles to go home. And so that was the first time since 1971, and I got to be there in Citizens Bank to watch a game end on the catcher's interference. Now, the Red Sox, they are playing the Dodgers. Looking for a good series to follow this week. I got you 2 of them this weekend. We got the Red Sox and Dodgers at Fenway, and then also the Phillies and Yankees. There you go. I got to tell you about a couple other things. Josh Naylor traded to the Mariners for a couple of minor league pitchers. Nick Ahmed, Diamondbacks, 14 years. He retired. And the Bees, they dropped 2 in a row. They've got Game 4 tonight at 7:05, first pitch on the KSL Sports Zone. All right, finish up with soccer.
Hashtag RSL.
Well, we had an all-star game, and the MLS beat the Liga MX 3-1 on Wednesday night. You didn't have Messi, you didn't have Alba for the teams, and they were going to have a conversation with Miami to decide the fate of the players. I say cut them. Ban them for life. RSL, they lost to Cincinnati, but they are back in action. And that's tomorrow night, right? Chicho Arango's coming back for the San Jose Earthquake. We know he was a pretty good player for them. First kick is 7:30 tomorrow with the pregame, 6:30 on the Zone. That is what's trending. There's no job too big or too small because what is trending is brought to you by Shamrock Plumbing. No job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. Okay, coming up next, we got Locke to join us. And then at 8 o'clock, we're going to talk BYU football as camp's getting underway in just a few days with Mitch Harper. And then at 9 o'clock, we'll switch over and do the Utes. So stay with us right here, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is Hanselson and Scotty G.
It's what you want.
So I'm trying to get my phone to not call me Hans.
All right, try it again.
Don't call me Hans.
Okay, what should I call you?
Hans.
You'd like me to call you Hats. Is that right?
No. Hans.
You'd like me to call you Pants.
It's the dumbest thing. What is my name, Google?
Your name is Hans.
God! Stupid. Dumb thing. Could you call me Hans, Ned?
You'd like me to call you Handsome. Is that right?
Well, it's better than Hans. Yeah.
Catch Hanson Scotty weekdays from noon to 3 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome on in, DJ and PK. DJ's off today. I am PK. Thanks for joining us. We certainly appreciate it. Joining us now, you know him. You love him. He is David Locke, Mr. Jazz radio broadcaster. How the heck are you?
I'm good. Great to talk. David James takes vacation. I didn't know this. After 17 years of knowing him, I'm not sure this has ever happened before.
You know, I wouldn't call it a vacation. It's a personal thing that he has to do involving family, but it's not really a vacation.
Oh, well, I guess things have never changed then. All right. I thought the hardest working guy never stops. Well, he might have actually turned a page.
Yeah, and I was supposed to be off today, but I rearranged it and came back early. I went on a baseball trip.
Oh, what'd you do?
My wife wanted to see Niagara Falls, so we did that. And
pretty great, actually. Did you go Canadian side or U.S. side?
Both, but we stayed in the Canadian side.
Okay, way better. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. It's a night and day difference.
Yeah.
And shooting fireworks over the falls at 10 o'clock, and I had no idea on the Canadian side that it was a big vacation spot. I mean, with rides and amusement, the kids all over the place, and people. So since we were there, we did the boat ride, and they say you're going to get wet. What they should say is you're going to get more wet than taking a shower.
Yes. Did you get the poncho over the top of you or not?
Oh, of course.
It doesn't really matter,
It
though.
doesn't. No. I mean, you are soaked. It took 2 days for the clothes to dry out. I mean, to say you're going to get wet is a massive understatement.
Yes, that is accurate.
You will get drenched, and you'll laugh because it's nothing like anything you've ever done. And,
yes, and you'll wish you had different shoes for the rest of the day.
Precisely. And I wish somebody would have told me, because I only brought 2 pair of shoes, and one, we were going to the Jersey Shore, and they were just basically flip-flops. They're glorified flip-flops. So we kind of had to do that for a couple of days and keep the shoes in the sun and all that stuff. And then since we were close enough, we went up to Toronto, so I saw the Blue Jays play.
Oh, cool.
And then went back.
I went to Skydome, which is now Rogers, when it was brand new in 1990. I think it opened in 89.
It opened in 89. I looked it up, yeah.
And so I went and saw it in 1990 at the time, which was like such a revolutionary concept. And that's when people were having sex in that hotel room, and you could see it. And it was like they had forgotten about that concept, that people might be voyeurs. And that's where Jose Canseco would hit that huge home run. But yeah, it was like such a revolutionary with a retractable roof, and like the technology was crazy. It's probably outdated, and it's probably soon to be discussed as something at a stadium that needs to be replaced, I would guess.
As old as it is there, yeah. But, I mean, it's in a great location right there in the heart of downtown. And
Toronto's my favorite city we travel to.
Yeah, we explored
I thought Toronto was truly amazing. I wish I'd known there's a sandwich shop in Toronto that's, like, just crazy, like, small. Like, no tables. Like, you walk in, you grab your sandwich, and you're like, oh, what do I do with this? There's, like, maybe 2 table seats, 4. And it's just, like, amazing. But, no, Toronto's unquestionably my favorite city.
The traffic was pretty nasty virtually at all times.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the 5th biggest city in North America. Or, yeah,
I thought I heard him say 3rd.
Oh, interesting. Mexico City, New York, Toronto?
Yeah. Yeah, it was just, there was traffic everywhere. But, I mean, the game started at 7. We got downtown at 10, and just parked the car, so we had plenty of time.
That's pretty great. That's cool. And what else did you see? Anything else?
Then we went to Citi Field to see the Mets, and then over to Philadelphia to see the Phillies.
In 1990, I drove across country, and I saw a game in every stadium.
Oh, that's our goal. We only have 4 more to go.
And so it's so funny, though. So there's only 26 at the time. It's a little bit of a trick to get it done because there's actually, I don't know if it's still true, but at the time there were a bunch of weird things where like the Rangers and Astros are never home at the same time, and the Angels and Dodgers are never home, the Cubs, White Sox. So there are a bunch of spots where like you actually have to hit them. If you're going to get the trip done with any efficiency all in one summer, you had to hit, Texas or Dallas and then be able to get to Houston the next day, or catch Texas on the last day of a homestand and then get to Houston. We did it, but also it's funny. I mean, obviously 1990 is a long, long time ago now, but and Camden Yards was brand new, New Comiskey was brand new, and Skydome. Those were the 3, and obviously Wrigley and Fenway were the old dogs. Now, I haven't seen any of these stadiums, right? Like, not only did Coors Field not exist, and not only did the Florida Marlins not exist, which made the trip possible, or the Miami Marlins, excuse me, which made the trip possible because you didn't have to go down that far south. And actually, frankly, not having to dive back into Colorado made it, because I was doing it out of San Francisco at the time. So not having those 2 spots was very helpful. But none of the stadiums are the same. Like, none of them. Go to Metrodome in Minneapolis is gone, and every single one of them. 3 Rivers Park is gone,
Detroit.
Thank goodness, and Riverfront is gone, thank God. Those 2 were just such cookie cutter abominations.
Same thing in Philadelphia, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Cincinnati.
So anyway, just kind of interesting. I mean, obviously that's a lot. It actually happened really fast, because Camden Yards was so beautiful that the stadium revolution happened in the late 90s to early 2000s. So it was really interesting how fast all of them went away. Now that it's 2025? So 36 years ago, or 35 years ago, they did that. It's not as surprising that these stadiums are gone.
And a lot of times change is not viewed as positive, but this was change for the better.
Right.
Because these ballparks now are way more charming. And that's one of baseball's things is charming, is that you have to have that.
I wish that sometimes that baseball would dive more into the uniqueness of every field, right? Because I think with the modern era of all the data that they have now, it's like somewhat interesting that someone hit a 402-foot home run, but it's way more interesting when someone hits a 372-foot home run, and they're like, that would only be a home run in 5 of the 30 ballparks. You're like, oh, that's really cool. That's unique. Or somebody flies out, in a 4-2 game with 2 runners on, somebody flies out and the stat pops up. It's like, oh, that would have been a home run in 21 of the other 30 buildings. Like, oh, well, then that's a really, then the makeup of the stadium had a big impact on the game.
I like it. That's a good idea. It is, and it does. Yeah, sure. So that's the one thing that you can get in that sport that the other ones are sort of uniform in that way in football and basketball, obviously.
And the game's watchable again, so you can now be a fan of it.
Yes, and I was there on Monday, and the game was decided in the bottom of the 10th on a catcher's interference. First time since 1971.
We have a new show. I'm going to plug it because I think it's really cool. If you're a baseball fan, we have a new show called Locked on MLB Game Night. And what it is we have a host for every team, right? So they record a 1-minute piece after every game, and then we just kind of our hosts bounce from one report to the next. And so you get a recap of the entire night of MLB, and we were instead of just covering New York, Boston, and LA, we cover every team. And so I think it's cool. So that's why I mentioned it. It's called Locked on MLB Game Night. And I listen to it almost every day as my way of catching up with what's going on with baseball. And the other day they were talking about catcher's interference, and I didn't realize this is all because of the computers. That the catchers are now trying to get closer to frame it differently because of the computers and the computers balls and strikes. And that's why we have more catcher's interference.
I didn't know that either, but it makes sense.
Right. Super interesting. But yeah, so tip of the hat to thus the free plug for our show, but that is, at least I'm not stealing information and acting like it's mine.
Cool. Okay.
You would like that show, by the way.
I will check it out.
Yeah.
I check out your stuff. Do you want to talk jazz or you want to talk the state of college sports?
I think the state of college sports is pretty fascinating. I have a podcast on the Jazz. If someone's that much of a diehard that they want it right now, I'll be recording it when we're done. We can do that. How's that? Here's what I think. I was talking to I was just talking to Jeff Thurman, is his name. He's the head of Utah Golf Association, and Stoddard is the head coach at Oklahoma State.
Annie Thurman.
So, yeah, you got it. So my take on this is I'm pro portal because, like, I remember Rick McJair's calling Jordy McTavish into the room and telling him that all of his teammates hate him and he has to go, right? It wasn't true. Like, so the coaches were evil.
Idaho State.
Right. And I'm pro players getting paid because clearly there was a lot of money out there that was worth it for people to pay their players, right?
No question.
And so, and the people that are against the portal and against the players getting paid, my only comment to that is you just didn't really understand what was going on before.
Oh, that's absolutely correct. I've been saying that for years. I don't know that there's many people who are against that, though. They want maybe some regulations as opposed to being against it and not even having it existing.
100%. What it's doing to college sports and what the impact of two things I like are, I'm not so certain about, is the way I would phrase it. Like, I'm pro-portal, I'm pro-nil. I think these are good things. I just don't know what it means anymore, and I don't know what it means for fans. I know on a personal note, the conference realignment has destroyed my fandom because I think I was as much a fan of Stanford at this point because my dad and I went to games together, and every Saturday let us kind of talk and probably have the same conversation every year, which was like, oh, do you remember UCLA when John Neighbor hit the field goal to beat the Bruins in 19, or when Vinnie White did such and such, and there was just a history to it.
Yep.
And now when Stanford plays Wake Forest, I just don't give a crap at all. In fact, I didn't watch one game all year. I couldn't tell you their schedule, and I couldn't probably tell you a player's name on their team anymore.
Okay, but how much is that they've gone through a little bit of a lull if they were 12-0, 11-1?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
maybe.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I mean, if they're 12-0 or 11-1, you might be, if you're that extreme, right? It's pretty hard to not be interested in the top 10 team. But let's just be more realistic. If they were 8-4, like, I don't think I would care. I really don't think I would care if they were 8-4. But I also don't live there either. I mean, we've always the truth is, in all of these sports, that all we're doing is being a member of a tribe and rooting for cloth. That's just the truth of the matter. It's fine, right? We get identity by being a part of a group, which is great. This is like, we need this in society. This is a positive. And you can wear your hat of your team, and you wear your shirt, and then when I say you're rooting for cloth, like, it doesn't really matter if the players change, you still root for your team. Like, it hurts, but you still root for your team. And
you get over it.
Yeah, and Penn State's proven we actually don't care what you morally do with your team because we'll still root for our team and have no repercussions if, like, you're doing the most heinous things ever and decide, yeah, that's fine, we'll keep your statue up because it's part of a tribe. Like, that's what tribes do. And I was a little deep, but what I think also is there was a little bit of college sports, and I didn't have this because I didn't go to Stanford, where you would wear your sweatshirt of your alma mater and go to the game, and you're rooting for kids that in theory were kind of doing the same thing you did by going to that school. That part is now gone. Right? There's nothing similar about the running back making $3 million to you as the college student going to school. So that part is going to be gone. I don't know what the long-term impact of this is. It's just fascinating, though.
Yeah, but wasn't that running back already making money? We just didn't talk about it.
Yes, yeah. I mean, maybe not $3 million.
Not as much, granted.
Right. Right. I mean, the one that's really interesting here when you try to find solutions is, okay, well, make these guys, I've heard a lot of people talk about this, make people sign a 2 or 3 year contract. Well, then they're employees. And then the impact of that, whether you care or not, is that there's no women's sports and there's no men's sports that aren't revenue generators anymore.
That's where I was going to get with that. I mean, you have a college athlete yourself and your family, and nobody, I would think nobody wants to see sports eliminated, whether you're a fan of that particular sport or not. If you're a sports fan, you understand the value, particularly of young women who are bruised and battered in our world because they may not look like Sydney Sweeney or whomever it is, the latest hottie toddy of the day, and they're supposed to have that. And if they don't, they feel less of a person, and it is a tragedy, and sports is a way for them to develop and all that other stuff. So I don't think anybody wants to see that go away. I wouldn't think.
Yeah, I think some people don't care, which is unfortunate. It is interesting, though. I've watched sometimes, I mean, it's interesting, like when you say, well, Title IX goes, well, I don't like Title IX. Okay, well, your men's soccer team is gone. Oh, wait, what? The men's soccer team's gone?
And I don't like that either.
Right, it's not Title IX that's gone. It's all non-Olympics. It's non-revenue sports are gone because there's nothing. And I do think that part of a university is to have these opportunities the same way they have a theater and an art department, and kids are getting music scholarships and theater scholarships.
Agreed.
I mean, the other one I would say, just this as a side note that has always frustrated me, is I really wish kids could major in their sport. It's really what they're doing anyway. Trust me, I'm not in love with that concept, but it's going on. And if that's what you're doing, which is what truthfully most college kids are doing that are playing Division I sports, then take a finance class, take a nutrition class, take a coaching class, take an exercise science class, make it real, but major in football. But football that involves all aspects of football, so that when you're done playing football or basketball or whatever your sport is, and you want to stay in it in some capacity, you then have a book of skills, because we let you major in theater and we let you major in dance and we let you major in music. And those are not just because they're elitist and somehow prestigious and allow you to be a snob doesn't actually mean that they have much less revenue opportunity in the long run than any of these sports, being a coach or being something in the sport or working for, like a golfer comes out with some skills and goes and works for Callaway. They can make a whole hell of a lot of money selling club, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right. Whereas the music coach is really not going to make any money. So I don't really understand why. I would like us to the next step is to dive all in. Let these kids go to college, have them be college students, but let them major in their sports. And if they're going to be making $3 million, let's go ahead and give them a finance class while we're at it.
Yeah, but I think they can take one.
They can, but not if it's hard. They can't. Then they're told not to.
Well, that's a fact. We've had athletes come on the air and tell us that, and I know what you're saying without saying it.
I mean, I'm not going to hide it. I have a Division I golfer. She's literally told the classes are available to her or not.
Right, because they can't get in the way of the team. That's why we're paying you to come here.
Right, 100%. She's not bringing in come on, what's the joke? So they can finish last in the Big Ten.
Well, I mean, things may change now based on what's happened here recently.
Right. Yeah. So it's interesting, but I think your first point of the really interesting debate here is, okay, what is the purpose of collegiate sports and its societal impact on young adults? Okay, because that's where we started, and that's why we have college sports in theory, I would think.
Yes.
And then, so that's to your point that yes, you're preaching to the choir. That sports has given my daughter a feeling of worth and self-worth in a tough world for kids right now.
Yeah.
And and giving her the opportunity to have a week she'll never forget, like this one. And so then it's been great. But, so to me, that's what I would like to believe collegiate sports is. If we're just going to turn it into minor leagues, and that's what it is, so that fans can root for things and schools can brand themselves, then it's something else. I don't know where we're heading. It's really, it's a great question. What is the purpose of this? Why? What are we doing? Is it just to fill a stadium and make money? Like, that's really disappointing if that's where we are, but it might be where we are.
Understood. Where we are is we got to go. We enjoyed your conversation this morning. I appreciate you getting up and talking with us.
Kyle Filipowski, Summer League MVP. Way to go, Flip.
Yeah, we can get to that the next time because that was going to be my topic. So, and what do we have there in that young man as a player, and we will get to that at another time. But thank you for your time.
Have a good weekend. Hope you get to hit him straight somewhere.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Okay, talk to you soon.
Okay.
See you. Bye.
David Locke joining us, and if you did not know what he was referencing, his daughter is the women's state amateur champion. Congratulations to that young lady. I've seen her play golf. And very, very good. You can go read stories about it wherever you want to. KSL Sports, and we've got it everywhere, and all the other places. So interesting times in college athletics, which brings us to, at the top of the hour, we're going to be talking to Mitch Harper. We've got BYU football that we're going to talk about for an hour with camp starting. And then at 9 o'clock, we're going to flip over and go with Steve Bartle and talk about Utes with their camp starting. So stay with us right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is Utah's best coverage of the Utes, Cougars, Jazz, and Mammoth. Here we go. From the guys who have been there for all the biggest moments in Utah sports history. You're listening to DJ and PK. Presented by Black Desert Resort, Utah's premier golf resort on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
That's the music of Jason Aldean, and the band of the day and the artist of the day is Jason Aldean. It's brought to you by Live Nation. Jason Aldean is performing tomorrow night at Utah First Credit Union Amphitheater for all the live concert and events in 2025. Here's what you do. You just check out livenation.com. Jason Aldean, you a country fan, young Christian?
Not really.
Not really. What's your music of choice?
A little bit of everything except for country, I guess, is the best way to sum it up.
Come on. You never heard of Old Dominion, the band?
I have, yeah.
My favorite band. They're country. I guess they're country. Actually, they're country rock. Country has just had a wide change of definition. And you got some people in the old school, they don't like it. They want it to be more of the old.
I am particularly not a fan of the newer style country music.
The newer, and that's all I listen to. Man, you know, if you want to have a future in this company, you got to get on my good side.
Okay, I'll pick it up.
It's up to you. It's Jason Aldean. All right, we are going to spend a couple of hours here talking about college football because camps are right around the corner. Yeah. I was going to say literally around the corner, but if you use the word literally, then they have to be around the corner. We were sitting at the Citi Field, the Mets game on Sunday, and it was hot. And gal sits down behind me. She was a whiner. She had shorts, and she tells her husband, I can't sit there. This seat is literally on fire. And I wanted to turn around and say, that's not the correct usage because we would need an extinguisher or have to call the fire department to have it be literally on fire. They're not literally around the corner, but they are just days away, hours away from college football starting. And we will get into that on this Friday morning. Yes, absolutely. And we will start with the Cougars first, and then we will go with the Utes. So stay with us because that's what we're going to be talking about, all the issues facing these teams here in the next couple of hours. So stay with us on the rest of the show. Please do on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.